So everyone I know, even outside the AI world, is using some form of AI. They're using ChatGPT, they're using Gemini, some people are using Claude. I think it's become pretty mainstream and accepted that everyone's going to use this. But there's a growing number of things where I think there's change that's coming, and I don't think people are quite prepared for it. And I'm not talking AI doomerism and it taking over the world or taking everyone's jobs or any of that. I've got a list of 6 things, and I think they are worth discussing. So, number one, I don't think we have anywhere near enough compute. I think this is bubbling up under the surface, and it turns out that after long debate, Sam Altman might have been right when he said we're going to need a lot more compute, and the numbers that he was throwing around seemed crazy, but we just don't have enough. And the next set of models that we're going to be using, they won't be affordable, accessible to any people who are currently using the standard free tiers of Gemini, ChatGPT, etc. They won't be able to benefit from them because, like any scarce resource, it's going to push the price up. And we're going to get very good at finding efficiencies and optimizing, and that'll be a fun challenge to have, but we're going to have a real compute shortage. There's no doubt about it now. I think it's becoming obvious when you look at the models that are getting released. Some of them, they could be pushed out, but they're not because they can't service the compute. That's the truth of it. Number 2, the era of this AI subsidy that we've all been living through is ending. So much like Uber used to give you really cheap rides, and then slowly the prices got up and up and up as the venture capital funding ran out, AI is in the same boat. I think a lot of us have gotten very used to maybe getting the free version or paying for AI and getting quite a lot of bang for your buck. But that era of unlimited intelligence is coming to an end. And it means that the true cost of AI is going to become apparent very soon. So that means people hitting rate limits quickly. It means people realizing that if they want the good stuff, it's not just going to cost a little bit, it's going to cost a lot. And that means that the value of AI really needs to come through, because if it doesn't, you're not going to be justifying the amount of money it's going to cost. It might also mean that the best agents, the best AI agents, cost more than the best humans, at least for the near future. That could very well be the case. I'm still pretty confident that the best human workers with the best agents will still be better than just having one or the other, for sure. Next up, image generation. So I think image generation will take off for enterprise use cases in a way that we haven't really seen it do so for the last few years. We had like the Studio Ghibli moments, and we had these wonderful ability to mock some of the early stage things. Remember you used to get like hands with 6 fingers and stuff. It used to be entertaining. We used to have the uncanny valley portraits and the questionable fake news of the Pope wearing a puffer jacket. But now, image generation mixed in with the multimodality that it brings in, so the text generation and the research behind the scenes, it completely upends a large part of what we think of as the knowledge worker and creative design category. If you're like me and you spend a long time in your long career reviewing and iterating slides, moving boxes and pixels and text and editing it to tell a story visually, AI is going to do that, and it does it through image generation. So this is going to start changing behaviors, but also freeing up people to do things that they couldn't do or they wasted too much time doing before. And actually, image generation in enterprise will become big, really, really big. Knowledge worker, I think we're going to have a knowledge worker renaissance. I think the hyperbolic current narrative around AI replacing knowledge workers is kind of overblown. One thing that will change though is this renaissance means a real change. It means forget the 9 to 5 and embrace temporal autonomy and a non-linear approach to productivity. So what does that mean? That means you probably get up early in the morning and you have a conversation with your agents and get them working on something so that they are being productive while you can go and do other things. It then means that you might find yourself facing agent interaction overload. So that's something I've faced a lot. I'm sure a lot of software developers and people who are really deep into the agent rabbit hole are facing at the moment. That happens when you're basically context switching between different agents that are all capable of doing different things. They have different personalities, different skills, and they come back to you. Unlike your human team, they come back to you in minutes, sometimes seconds, as opposed to hours or days. It's exhausting. It's incredible because you can build so much and get so much done, but it's like compressing a month worth of review and iteration with your colleagues into an hour. And if you do that for 10 hours a day, you will get tired. So that's a problem. The other part of this renaissance, I think, is going to be just forget the conventional role descriptions, where you've got these explicitly defined tasks and responsibilities, and instead embrace the upwards mobility of being able to do whatever you want and whatever the right thing to do is, regardless of legacy org structures and orthodoxies. I think you're going to find knowledge workers that are way more versatile, and the people who will succeed will be the ones that are willing to go way outside of their comfort zone and prove how valuable they can be when they're working with AI. Next on my list is this bifurcation of the AI experience. So along the same lines, everyone I know is using all these tools, but they are not all getting the same experience as people who are living and breathing the latest AI capabilities 24/7. It might not even be bifurcation. It might be a spectrum that has exponential distance between each step of that spectrum. So I would consider myself to be pretty advanced as an AI power user, but equally I know people who are genuinely 1,000 times more advanced than what I'm doing, and I'm blown away, and I'm trying to work out how I leverage that competency and skill and fluency to actually achieve what they're doing. And I think people who are comfortable having a chat with ChatGPT each day and just getting advice and talking through things, they're getting a lot of value out of it, but they're kind of at the earlier stage of that spectrum. And then people who haven't touched this at all, there's going to be an interesting split. I think, though, this has been the case in any field where there are degrees of expertise and experience. You've always had some people who are far more advanced and doing more powerful things with Excel or with CAD systems or with software development tools. You've always had the spectrum. I just think with this one it's different because it's less about the human lifespan and the investment that you put in at school and university and in extra qualifications or in extra experience throughout your career to become a veteran. And it's more about exposure and immersion. It's about the time in the last few years to just invest in learning how to get the most out of these tools for you and to build them around you. And put it this way, as the parent of a toddler, even on your day off, you don't have a lot of time. And I think the students and single, flexible, unconstrained people are going to have an incredible advantage in this current era. It's not to say that you need to be single and a student to make the most of it, but the irony in all of this is that I think if you can create in your workplace for your most motivated employees that type of time so that they can really invest in that AI literacy and competence, it's going to be the best investment ever and better than any new license or tool or training course ever could. It's the time component which is just key. Finally, and this is an interesting one, headless AI I think will change the user experience that we're all comfortable with. So by headless I mean it doesn't have a user interface by design. Your experience of your apps and that expectation will change based on what you want. It won't be one size fits all, it will be something built for you. We saw with Salesforce they did a whole shift to headless AI APIs so that your AI agent can just go and query and talk to Salesforce to get what they need. I think that'll happen across everything, and the end state of where that ends up for you might be different for someone else. Like you're going to have a different approach to getting the same value from those products, but your experience might be completely different. And it's interesting for me because like probably the last decade has been a focus of, user-centered design thinking, trying to build better interactions and find a kind of design truth to how your product is meant to work for the median target audience, right? And that's kind of how everyone's built things. That's how our current user experience paradigm is shaped. But now there's a genuine question, like why bother? Why bother trying to find that ideal median target audience? Why not just surface the best product back-end experience with the data and the intelligence, and let your agents build the perfect thing for every single person individually. If you can provide a headless product and someone else's agent can take it and build what they need, then it's a win-win. And for me, that's not very satisfying. I like the design process. I think there's real value and there's a reward mechanism around building something that I think we're visually proud of. But it's more than that. I think we're moving into a different space now. So the headless AI paradigm makes a whole different user experience, and we're kind of at the very earliest stages of seeing what that looks like. So those are my 6. I've got a lot more thoughts. I'll have more announcements and more updates soon. This is me making the most of the weather before I start what I'll announce soon. Take care.